My girlfriend said, "I'm polyamorous now, and you need to accept it." I said, "All right, I accept it." I then started dating her closest friend. We posted our engagement photos, and that's when her world fell apart. Apparently, even her polyamory had limits, and she couldn't handle it. I'm 32, a software developer working for a mid-sized tech company in Seattle, and until 3 months ago, I genuinely believed I had my life mapped out perfectly. 4 years with Leah, a beautiful apartment in Capitol Hill with exposed brick walls, serious conversations about marriage and children, weekend trips to the San Juan Islands. Then one Tuesday evening in March, she walked through our door after her book club meeting and delivered an announcement that would systematically dismantle everything we'd built together. Leah and I met through mutual friends at a rooftop party in the summer of 2019. She was absolutely magnetic, confident without arrogance, articulate, perpetually the center of attention without appearing to seek it. She worked in digital marketing for a sustainable fashion brand, had this infectious laugh that made everyone around her smile, and we connected immediately over our shared love of hiking and terrible puns. Our relationship developed naturally, comfortably. We established our routines quickly. Sunday morning excursions to the University District Farmers Market, Thursday date nights alternating between new restaurants, lazy Saturday mornings with French press coffee, and the New York Times crossword puzzle spread across our kitchen table. Her best friend, Nina, was constantly around. They'd known each other since their sophomore year at the University of Washington, practically inseparable for over a decade. Nina was noticeably quieter than Leah, more introspective and thoughtful, with this wonderfully dry sense of humor that consistently caught me off guard. She worked as a graphic designer for a nonprofit and had this calm presence that balanced Leah's intensity perfectly. She'd join us for dinners at least twice a week, movie nights on our sectional, weekend hiking trips to Rattlesnake Ledge. I never questioned it or felt uncomfortable. She was part of our ecosystem, and I genuinely enjoyed her company. That Tuesday evening, Leah entered our apartment with unusual seriousness. She set her tote bag down carefully, kicked off her shoes, and asked me to sit with her on our gray sectional, the one we'd spent 3 exhausting weekends shopping for. "I need to talk to you about something really important," she said, her hands folded precisely in her lap. "I've been doing extensive reading and a lot of deep self-reflection over the past few months. I've come to realize that I'm polyamorous." I blinked, setting down my phone. "Okay, what exactly does that mean for us?" "It means I need the freedom to explore meaningful connections with other people, romantically and physically. I love you deeply. That hasn't changed, but I feel fundamentally constrained by traditional monogamy. I need you to accept this about me because it's a core part of my identity." The phrasing struck me immediately, not framed as a discussion, but delivered as an immutable declaration I was expected to accommodate. "So you want an open relationship?" I said slowly. "Polyamory is about ethical non-monogamy. It's completely different from cheating because it's built on honesty and mutual consent. I'm being honest with you right now instead of going behind your back. That's the ethical part. Have you already met someone?" She hesitated, her eyes flickering away briefly. "There's someone I've been talking to and developing feelings for. Nothing physical has happened yet because I absolutely wanted to discuss this with you first. But yes, there's a connection I want to explore properly." I leaned back against the cushions. "And if I say no, then I'd have to seriously reconsider whether we're fundamentally compatible long-term. I can't suppress or deny this essential part of myself." There it was. The ultimatum elegantly wrapped in therapeutic language. "All right," I said after a long pause. "I accept it." Her entire face transformed with visible relief. "Really? You're genuinely okay with this? You need to be true to yourself, Leah. I understand that." I stood up. "I'm going to take a walk and clear my head." I wandered through our neighborhood for over an hour. When I finally returned, she was already texting someone, smiling at her phone with an expression of anticipation I hadn't seen directed at me in months. Over the following week, she went on 2 dates with a guy named Trevor from her CrossFit gym. She'd return home late, flushed with excitement, and proceed to tell me detailed accounts of their conversations like I was one of her girlfriends. The cognitive dissonance was absolutely staggering. Watching the person you love glow about someone else while sitting across from you at breakfast. Nina came over that Friday evening for our traditional pizza and movie night. Leah had gone out with Trevor again, casually mentioning she probably wouldn't return until morning. Nina and I sat on opposite ends of the couch, that familiar space suddenly feeling charged and strange. "So," Nina said, methodically picking pepperoni off her slice, "how are you actually handling all of this?" "Honestly, I genuinely don't know yet. It feels surreal." She shifted to face me fully. "For what it's worth, I think what she's doing is profoundly selfish. She didn't ask if you wanted this kind of relationship. She just told you that you had to be okay with it or lose her entirely. You two are best friends. Aren't you supposed to be on her side?" "I'm on the side of what's actually right." Nina's dark eyes held mine with unusual intensity. "And this isn't right. She's having her cake and eating it too while you're just enduring it and pretending to be supportive. That's not ethical. That's convenient for her." Something fundamental shifted in that moment. Maybe it was the way Nina looked at me, like she genuinely saw what I was experiencing. Maybe it was weeks of suppressed frustration finally finding an outlet. "Can I ask you something?" I said. "Anything. Do you honestly think she'd be this understanding if our roles were reversed?" Nina laughed, sharp and bitter. "Absolutely not. Leah's polyamorous when it conveniently suits her needs. But if you started seeing someone, if you came home glowing about another woman, she'd completely lose her mind. I know her. This only works if she's the one benefiting." That's exactly what I thought too. We talked until 2:30 in the morning. About everything: relationships, authenticity, expectations, what we actually wanted from life versus what we'd settled for. Nina admitted she'd been increasingly unhappy in her own relationship, that she'd actually broken up with her boyfriend of 3 years about a month ago, but hadn't told many people yet. The conversation flowed with an effortlessness I hadn't experienced in years. When Leah finally stumbled home around 3, Nina had already slipped out. Over the next several weeks, Nina and I began spending significantly more time together. Coffee meetings on weekday mornings before work. Lunch breaks in California Anderson Park. Long evening walks around Green Lake, talking until sunset. It started innocently enough, two people finding genuine comfort in each other during complicated times. But somewhere along the way, it transformed into something unmistakably more. She understood me in ways Leah never had. She actually listened instead of just waiting for her turn to speak. She laughed genuinely at my terrible jokes. And when she looked at me, I felt truly seen as a complete person. 6 weeks after Leah's initial announcement, Nina and I were sitting on a bench in Volunteer Park at sunset when she said quietly, "I think I'm falling for you." "I think I already fell," I replied. "This is going to get extremely messy," she said, but she was smiling. "Almost definitely. But Leah wanted ethical non-monogamy, right? This is me being completely ethical. I'm telling you exactly how I feel, and I'm not hiding anything." Nina kissed me then, soft and tentative and perfect, and everything else just fell away. I told Leah that same evening. She was getting ready for another date with Trevor, carefully applying lipstick in our bathroom mirror. "Hey, I wanted to let you know I've started seeing someone too," I said casually from the doorway. She froze completely. "What? You said you're polyamorous and wanted the freedom to explore other connections." "I'm doing exactly the same thing." "With who? Does it really matter?" Her expression hardened instantly. "Of course it matters." "Who is she?" "Someone I've gotten close to recently. Someone who actually understands me." Leah's face flushed dark red. "This is completely different. You're obviously doing this out of spite." "No, I'm doing this because apparently we're in an open relationship now. You established the rules, Leah. I'm just playing by them exactly as you define them." She slammed her lipstick down hard enough that I heard something crack. "This isn't what I meant, and you know it." "Then what exactly did you mean?" "That you get to see other people, but I have to remain completely loyal? That's not polyamory. That's just selfishness with a trendy label." She grabbed her purse and stormed out, slamming the door violently enough to rattle the framed photos on our wall. Leah didn't come home that night or the next. She finally texted around noon. "We need to talk. Serious ground rules." I didn't respond. Nina came over instead, and we spent the entire day together, cooking, talking, just existing comfortably in each other's space. It felt profoundly right in a way nothing had for months. When Leah finally returned Sunday evening, she found Nina and me cooking dinner together, laughing over wine. "What the hell is this?" Leah said, her voice shaking. Nina turned slowly. "Hey, Leah. You?" Leah's eyes went impossibly wide. "You're seeing Nina?" "My Nina?" "Yeah," I said simply. "My best friend?" You're fucking my best friend. Former best friend, Nina said quietly but firmly. After what you've put him through these past 2 months, after watching you treat him like an accessory to your self-discovery journey, I realized exactly where my loyalties actually lie. Leah looked between us, visibly stunned. This is betrayal. Ultimate betrayal from both of you. How exactly? I asked. You wanted polyamory. You demanded ethical non-monogamy. Nina and I are being completely open about our relationship. There's zero deception here. We're following your rules precisely. This is different, and you absolutely know it. Why? Because now it directly affects you? Because now you have to actually share instead of just taking what you want. Leah's hands trembled visibly. I cannot believe you would do this to me. Funny, Nina said steadily. That's exactly what I said to you 6 weeks ago when you first told me your plan. I explicitly warned you this could backfire. You said any truly secure person would be completely fine with it. Get out, Leah hissed at Nina. Get out of our apartment right now. It's my apartment too, I interjected calmly. Both our names are on the lease. Nina's my invited guest. Leah grabbed her overnight bag and left again, slamming the door with enough force to shake the walls. The following 2 weeks were absolutely brutal. Leah temporarily moved in with Trevor, sending me long, rambling texts at all hours about boundaries and respect and betrayal. The irony was completely lost on her. She called me a narcissist, said I deliberately orchestrated everything with Nina specifically to hurt her. She told our mutual friends I was emotionally abusive and controlling. Some people believed her version without question. Others asked basic follow-up questions and quickly realized her narrative didn't hold up under scrutiny. Nina and I didn't hide anything. We went on proper public dates, held hands walking through Pike Place Market, posted photos together. We were building something genuine and real, and it felt right to be completely honest about it. Update. 3 months later, on a perfect June morning, I asked Nina to marry me. We were on the same Mount Si hiking trail where the 3 of us used to go together, but this time it was just us. Early morning with fog still rolling through the trees. Nina said yes before I even finished asking the question, tears streaming down her face, laughing and crying simultaneously. We posted the engagement photos that evening, her hand with the vintage sapphire ring, both of us grinning like complete idiots, the caption deliberately simple. She said yes. My phone exploded within an hour. Leah called 17 times consecutively. Then she showed up at the apartment at 11 p.m., pounding frantically on the door. I opened it to find her completely disheveled, mascara-streaked, wild-eyed. An engagement? She screamed loud enough for the entire floor to hear. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Leah, you need to calm down. You were with me for 4 years. 4 entire years, and you never once proposed. But 3 months with her, and suddenly you're ready for marriage. Maybe because Nina actually wants a genuine partnership, not a one-sided arrangement that exclusively benefits her. This is absolutely insane. You're only doing this to hurt me. Not everything is about you, Nina said, appearing beside me. We're in love. We're building a life together. This has absolutely nothing to do with you anymore. Leah's face crumpled completely. You are my best friend. My person. How could you possibly do this to me? You did it first, Nina said softly but firmly. You chose your desires over everyone else without a second thought. You didn't care how it affected him emotionally. You just expected him to smile and accept it and be supportive. Well, he did accept it. And he moved on and found something better. That's entirely on you. I never stopped loving him. Leah sobbed. Then you should have treated him like you actually loved him, Nina replied simply. Leah looked at me one final time, desperately searching for something. Regret, hesitation, uncertainty, any opening. She found absolutely none of it. I hope you'll both be fucking miserable, she spat before turning to leave. We won't be, I said to her retreating back. But thanks for the well wishes. I discovered later through mutual friends that Leah and Trevor broke up just 2 weeks after our engagement announcement. Apparently, he'd been seeing other people too, genuinely polyamorous, and she absolutely couldn't handle it. She wanted complete exclusivity from him while maintaining her own freedom. He wasn't interested in that hypocritical arrangement. The last I heard, she'd moved to Portland for a fresh start, deleted most of her social media, and was telling people she'd been betrayed by everyone she trusted. Nina and I got married 6 months later in a small ceremony at a vineyard in Woodinville. Just close friends and family, Exactly what we both wanted. My vows included a line about finding genuine love in the most unexpected places, about someone who chose me when they absolutely didn't have to. We're coming up on our second anniversary now. We bought a house in Ballard with a garden, adopted a rescue dog named Biscuit, and are talking seriously about kids. Sometimes, usually late at night, I think about that Tuesday evening when Leah made her announcement, how I could have fought harder to preserve what we had. But then Nina will laugh at something ridiculous I said, or grab my hand unconsciously while we're walking, or look at me like I'm her entire world, and I realize with absolute clarity that Leah did me the biggest favor of my entire life. She wanted polyamory. She demanded ethical non-monogamy and the freedom to explore. She just never once imagined I'd be better at it than her, that I'd actually find something real while she was busy having her fun. Turns out ethical non-monogamy works both ways. And some people absolutely cannot handle their own rules when they're not the only ones benefiting from them. I don't regret a single moment. Nina was right there all along, and sometimes the best things in life come from the worst situations. Leah taught me what I didn't want. Nina showed me what I did, and honestly, I've never been happier.